We are over 1 month in the car now. Yeah. Did a little shopping today. I picked up some allergy medication because it is that time, and the smallest amount of pollen will turn my sinuses into gelatin. Need to re-up my melatonin. I also went and picked up a telescoping fishing rod. My original plan was just to come back to Lexington and grab mine, but I was gonna, you know, fix it along these bungee cords on the ceiling of the car. I saw this in the aisle, and since it collapses down to, I'd say probably about 18-20 inches, I'll be able to store it easier. And then my official fishing hat, Cerveza Modelo filleting knife. Got this little rudimentary kit. It's got swivels, hooks, some sinkers, and I'm gonna store it in this. This is small enough I can just fit it in my back pocket whenever I'm fishing. I don't need to bring a whole tackle box. I don't have room to carry it in here. I am in the market for a small cooler though, and probably a frying pan, because I would like to, I need to look up the laws, but I'd like to just build a fire and, you know, cook the fish there, and in the cooler I'll just bring, you know, limes for the fish. And my seasoning and hot sauce I already have. Actually, it looks like these came in a case already, so I bought this for no reason. I haven't been drinking the protein powder at all yet, because I was trying to think of a solution on how I'm going to be washing and drying the cup, but I think I figured that out. What I'm going to do is take this paper towel roll and fix it into this basket with some zip ties, and I'll just keep this in my bin back there, which I'll have to reorganize in order to fit it. And then I'll just put my water and my soap in my cup and shake it when I'm done, dump it out the window, and then hang everything upside down on this, and keep a washcloth in the bottom here that I can just clean on laundry day. Just like that. I think it'll work just fine. I had to get another strainer for my beans because somebody at work, I'm pretty sure, threw mine away, so I'm gonna keep this in my locker. And I've been saying for weeks now that I'm gonna sew magnets into the thing, which I haven't done yet. But today I went ahead and got everything I need to fashion a little sewing kit. So just black thread, a threader, a bag, small pair of, you know, thread scissors, needles, measuring tape. Though if I get any holes or tears in my pants or my shirts, I can just patch them up. I don't have to buy a new pair. Last night I went ahead and got a motel in just outside of St. Charles, Illinois, which is a city that's like right on a river. It has a pretty popular bar scene. I went to a few last night. I think the first one was called The Hive, but it was too college-y for me. I tried to get a drink, it's too many people. Couldn't even make it to the bar and get noticed. So I went next door to a place called Rudy's, I think. And that place seemed pretty cool. The people there were super friendly. A couple people bought entire pizzas and they were just walking around handing out slices to people. Once I left out of there, I went to another bar across the street. I can't remember the name of it, but they had The Dark Knight Rises and Tommy Boy playing at the same time. So that's where I stayed. And a couple of dudes approached me and made small talk. They were plastered. One of them works with an AI startup for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So I talked to him mostly just because my friend Jack Raymond, he's super into that stuff, and he's always trying to get me to, you know, be introduced into that culture and learn how to code, stuff like that. Which reminds me, now that I'm in a settled routine, I can probably start back on my coding. I started auditing Harvard's courses for, coding because they're free online. I was ready to cash out and go back to the motel because I was going to hop on Discord and hang out with Derek since it's his birthday today. And he just tried to buy me a beer. I said, no, I'm heading out. And then he just bought me one anyway. So I had to sit there for another beer and talk about AI and stuff like that. But then when I eventually got out of there, I wanted to go back to the previous bar, Rudy's, to do some dancing to finish the night off. And when I got there, there was like 4 squad cars outside, and apparently there had been a fight or something. So I guess I just missed that. Actually, I remember back when I was in Lexington, I was at Horse and Jockey one night, and I was just standing there talking to my friends with my drink in my hand. And then all of a sudden, my drink gets flown all over me because these 2 dudes just started brawling behind me. And they fell down on the ground next to me, and I hopped in and pulled one of them off. And then I helped security escort the dude outside. And it was crazy. Other than that, I'm also in the market for a church of some sort. There's a Ukrainian Orthodox church right by my work that I think would be super interesting. I was actually invited to it by a cleaning lady that works in the building. She's Ukrainian. She doesn't know any English. So I practiced my Russian with her. She's super nice. So I might check that out. I don't really think I have a need to learn Ukrainian, which would really be the only reason I would go. I went to an Orthodox church in Kentucky called St. Athanasius, and it was super fun. I still talk to some of the people that go there, even though I only went one time. But we would have like lunches where we would just discuss philosophy and theology, which is my niche interest. So I might find an Orthodox church, but I also want to check out a Sephardic Jewish community. There's only a couple of them in the entire state or the Chicago area, from what I gather. So I might check that out next weekend. I think learning Hebrew might be more useful than learning Ukrainian for my studies and my research. So yeah, St. Charles was really cool. Might make that a regular spot. It's just a straight shot down 64 North. My original plan was to go to Naperville, but upon my research on the internet, it's more of like a suburban community that kind of looks down upon like excessive social drinking, I suppose is a good way to put it. So there's not a lot of like, bars there. So maybe I'll check it out one weekend. Might be a waste of time. I'm actually more excited to, just do some solo fishing. I joined a couple Facebook groups that like post like spots and stuff. So that's what I'm most excited for. Drinking and meeting people's fun, but fishing is good for the soul. I also checked out a pizza place. It's like a pub, like a pizza pub here in Addison. The food was all right. Nothing to write home to mom about. But they do have like, it seemed like 16 or 20 pool tables. So I might do that too. If I do that, I'll want to get my own sticks because I think you have to rent them out there, which is stupid. Oh yeah, that's a nice action. Might just throw these lures away. I don't really use lures, but I don't really know how to use lures. I've never used them, so maybe I'll just save these for a rainy day and research how to use them properly. When I went fishing with Jessica, I didn't catch a damn thing, so maybe I'll take any help I can get. Actually, I remember back when I was working at Insomnia Cookies, I think this is probably 2016, I would get off work at like 1 in the morning sometimes, most of the time. And me and one of the managers, Alyssa, we used to go to Jacobson Park at like 3 in the morning with a cooler of Mountain Dew. We used to just fish all night, and it was awesome. Keandre would come sometimes. Funny story regarding Insomnia Cookies. One night I was doing deliveries, and sometimes I just have Keandre ride with me. Because I think we were roommates at this point, or maybe that was before. Doesn't matter. You know, the type of people who are going to be ordering cookies at like 1 in the morning. It's going to be college people smoking weed. So I go to the door of this apartment, and they try to like, they offered me to come in and smoke with them. And I was like, it's not my thing. I don't like it. But I went back out to my car and I was like, hey, Keandre, is like, these people offer to smoke me out, but I don't partake. Do you want to go in and smoke? And he was like, yeah. And he came back to the car buttered. And there was another time I got a note on one of the orders, like on the receipt, and it said, if you stop at the gas station and pick up a Coke for me, I'll pay you extra on your tip. So I went to the gas station and I found a Coke with their name on it. But before I left the store, I took a little bit of flour and I put it in a bag to make them think it was cocaine. So when I get to the door of this apartment, actually it was the same apartment complex. I was like, here's your cookies. Are you the guys that asked for the Coke? And they were like, yeah. And then I pulled out the baggie and he goes, oh, no. We don't fuck with that. And I was like, I'm just joking. This is flour. Look, I found a Coke with your name on it. And they tipped me like $50. And there we go. I might modify the handle a little bit because it's a little too slim for me. I'm sure it'll work just fine. Doesn't seem like it's very cheaply made or anything. Although, now that I look at it, I think that might be like a high density polyethylene and it's not aluminum or anything. Oh well, I'll get some mileage out of it. I have 15 minutes until UPS opens. I've got 3 packages waiting for me. Hopefully it's my new glasses. By the way, this pants fan thing works like a charm. Although the profile of this one is a little too big to comfortably fit in the waistband. So I did order another one, which should be here, ready to be picked up. So I did not have 3 packages. I had only 1 package. I guess the other 2 labels were reprints from a couple packages ago. New fan. I mean, yeah, it's definitely a huge difference in profile. I think that's going to be a lot more comfortable. It's also a lot stronger than this one. I'm going to store the fishing pole right here, like I said. I really need to get some like C-clamps or something to fix onto my handles because the tension from the bungee cords pulls them this way and this way. And what that ends up doing is it makes these sag in the back. And sometimes that can obstruct my view and my rear view, which is kind of shit anyway, considering how dark my windshield is. So maybe I'll pop by Home Depot and do that real quick. You see with how flimsy these are, sometimes they can be very difficult to put up. Not too difficult, but you get it. I realized if I measure it right and I place the magnets in a specific place, I can actually just magnetize both of them together, which will make it double thick and therefore, you know, more tensile. And then I might be able to store it up there easier. God, I look like the Unabomber. More like DB Cooper. That's better. Actually, a great thing about living in the area for over a month now is that I don't need GPS to get me anywhere. I can kind of just look at the address and know where it's at. Hell, I can even get to St. Charles without a GPS now. And I've only been there 1 time. I also found a recording studio here. It seems pretty cheap. I was thinking maybe I'll write a little jingle or something to put at the beginning of these videos to increase the production value. Because why not? Just seems like something that'd be fun to do. Actually, while I'm over here, I'm gonna go ahead and run into my storage unit and do my replenishments so I have all my necessaries for the week. My work, my new job, got us a bunch of hats and stuff. I really wish they'd just give me the money on my paycheck that it takes to produce these things, because I really don't need more shit. Staying at the motel was really nice to sleep in a bed for once. Also, they had breakfast, so I had like 3 cups of milk, which is something I don't really get to drink anymore considering I don't have refrigeration capabilities. It was about $112, I believe. And if I just do that, you know, all 3-4 weeks of a month, I'm still coming in well under the cost of rent if I were to get an apartment. So I'm really enjoying this. This is definitely the move. Saturday nights are really the only night that I need that I'm like sleeping in the car for a full 8 hours. I generally get about 5.5 hours of sleep coming from one job and sleeping in the parking lot before my next job, which is fine. It's enough sleep for me. I've been on a 5.5 hour sleep schedule for years now, I believe. One thing that I really like about living in your car is that it forces you to be resourceful. You get pretty good at problem solving because you're pretty much faced with problems all the time. That, and you also just have, you know, nothing to really do. So it makes problems appear just by you noticing them. Being very careful not to cut my fingers open again, because that would suck. Very nice. Now I just gotta do the other 3. Turned out really nice. And as you can see in the rearview mirror, if it'll focus, there you go. Those 2 flaps aren't hanging down anymore. So I have complete vision. And now I am off to the laundromat to do my laundry for the week. And throw out all of my trash. And then I need to optimize my organization a little bit so that I can fit that, so I can fit this into that bucket back there. That's all the updates I have for right now. I believe I didn't miss anything. This has been your weekly update. Thanks for watching.